Hello and welcome. I'm Bruce Walter with Unilock Midwest, part of the contractor services team here. Today, I'd like to discuss a few of the nuances available with our Lineo Wall system. Now, Lineo's been out for several years, but there's been some advances in the system that I'd kind of like to go over with you, and I think it creates new opportunity in your business model. Let's start though with introducing the product for any of you contractors or installers that have not used this in the past. Every bundle of material that you would pick up from your authorized Unilock dealer is going to include in Lineo Wall a 12-inch component here, and you're in one bundle of material you have 15 pieces of the 12-inch long. Now recognize they're all 4 inches in height and 8 inches in depth on the wall. Also here on the 16-inch component, you're going to receive 15 of those as well. Same thing here on the 20, another 15 pieces. But here on the larger component, the 24-inch component, you're going to receive an additional 3 per bundle. Also with the bundle of material that you're going to get is this package of spacers, and it's going to include 2 items. The horizontal spacer that you see 1 foot in length, 1/8 inch high, all right? You're going to receive 140 of these, and then the T-spacer, which is going to be placed in the cross joint to allow you to gain that definition and that space alignment there. You'll receive 70 of those as well, which will align itself to the number of components that you have in that wall, the number of pieces. So let's go over an installation technique, and I would like to start out with the application of the universal base plates. I think the base plates on an 8-inch wall are very critical. You're going to see and notice the overhang that is both here on the front edge as well on the back. The other thing that I really like about using the base plates, one, I find them easier. 2, I can mark a little bit more effectively on a base plate rather than marking on my base material, the aggregates that you would be starting that wall. So really, to me, I think it makes it easier and provides better performance when you are using the base plates. A few other items here. It's a clean contemporary look in style, specifically here with the spacers in use. But you're able to basically create almost anything in the outdoor application in the backyard arena. Here on a pillar unit, the pillar bundle comes strictly with these 12-inch long components for you to be able to build that. And I still like the fact that with the pillar, I'll back these away if you will, that we're tying seat wall into that pillar. So by me backing this out to expose how we do that, I'm going to expose this cut here. Now this is a 12-inch piece that's cut in half. I've got the one down here, 2 courses, and then this is the next one. So these 2 components, it's one cut to provide those 2 pieces. Also, if I back in a little bit more on our pillar unit itself, what you're going to notice is this rip cut here. So this 6-inch rip cut, all right, provides that backside cut. So, you know, again, some simple methodology to integrate. Again, I think it's important integrating that pillar to your seawall installation. Other thing that on this that I think is kind of unique and a little bit different as well. Typically on a wall, we're going to run 1/4-inch beads front and backside along that. But here with Lineo Wall system, we're going to create some dollops. So I'll actually show you a technique that we like, and I'll lay that dollop here, another one at end of the block here, all right, one here, out here for my next piece. Okay. I do like contact with that adhesive to that spacer bar. It helps me when I'm setting that next block where these spacers won't move on me. I'll go ahead and lay this one up as well. Also notice on the horizontal spacers, I stagger them. So I've got about a 6-inch opening here on backside. So we alternate that so there's always direct contact and support based on those spacers. I'm laying a nice amount of adhesive here on this, all right? Notice that I'm elevated over the depth of this 1/8 inch, so I'm about a 1/4 inch high. Now, a lot of times when we're setting that next piece, we'll set that and slide that into position. Now, the one problem that I have with that, it works well when it's concrete to concrete. We increase that surface area by doing that. But what it does here with the spacers, it diminishes that level of adhesive. So I potentially want to position that next block a little bit more in accordance to where it is actually going to fit. Slide that material in, over the adhesive. Important, maintaining vertical strength. Never less than 4 inches should one cross joint be to the course below it. Always at least want to maintain 4 inches, if not more. We install that spacer, providing that distance between, and again, a good look. So very versatile wall, pillars, all outdoor applications in your outside environment. Now, with that being said, I'd like to advance this and show you some newer techniques that are available with this wall system. One thing that we've seen in the field, and an installation technique that a lot of contractors have kind of gravitated to, is the elimination of that spacer bar. What that's doing is providing a little bit more support with direct contact from block to block. So if you look at the evolution of adhesives and penetrating adhesives, it does allow greater stability on this wall system. So while we're at a garden wall scenario with spacers involved at overall height at 24 max, now we can, with direct contact block to block, begin to exceed that. So it does change the overall look, and it's a cleaner look, all right, available to you. One way that we've seen contractors establish some level of texture, they begin to do a little bit of in and out process. And I'll adjust this last course by moving this block forward, keeping the second block in position, pulling the last third block back, and then this one forward. So now I can create some level of texture to the wall in the aesthetics of it, but yet I've got block to block contact. So I think that's a nice opportunity. Again, all being supported by that universal base plate here. I think that's important, again, just to give it a shout out. So that being said, now that we can create texture to this wall system, what else can we do with it? Well, let me show you in our next phase. So some other opportunities that are available to the installer is to really create some defined texture to this. By simply using a splitter, a guillotine splitter, you're able to create a rock face texture to that. In developing both the in and out texture of the wall blocks themselves, now I can create basically differences in finishes now as well. Simple to do. I use our old guillotine splitter like many of you guys have in your trailers. It'll split on this one anyways, both the 12-inch as well as the 16, and I'll mix those sporadically in with the larger 20 and 24-inch units. Simple compression here, plus or minus at midpoint through the length of this block. An easy, not very labor-intensive application to be able to achieve this level of rock face that you'll see here. So instead of a smooth texture now I'm actually with that material creating that rock-faced edge. I can also move that material here both in and out. I can open both sides by creating a center cavity with these two pieces. So while I'm smooth and tight here on this block, this next one potentially, I can create some level of gap. And this is kind of nice too, if you have an installation where you need a channel to create it. This is one good way to do that. Say we're introducing low voltage lighting to the top of a seat wall or pillar application. This is a good way to actually do that. Real easy to do, and I do like the overall look. One other thing that's really worth mentioning here is the consistency in heights. So here, as we have 5 courses of material laid up, you're going to notice that we have a smooth transition here with no lippage involved in the overall heights on this wall. So the way it's made on end allows us to maintain that dimension in true form. So on your vertical applications, you're going to see some nice consistencies available to it. So again, just a little different look, something that's easy to install, and I think overall changes that look of this Lineo Wall product line. So let's move this forward. One more advancement, please. And lastly, gentlemen, I'm going to give a shout out to a lot of you installers that have been around in the hardscape industry for quite some time. A lot of you may remember Brussels dimensional stone, introduced in 1995, 12-inch compatible unit, very similar, honestly, to the 4-inch style that we see here with Lineo. But one thing that we did that was unique was we were able to, with Brussels dimensional, create random and ashlar type patterns. So simply, instead of using a horizontal member like this, we began to incorporate jumpers simply by twisting and rotating the materials. So I thought that was a little bit unique in application and something that we might consider here in Lineo. So here in Lineo, we're creating basically that same overall look. Again, we've used the split faced here, but you notice that we're using some jumpers here at 8-inch. Here, we're turning and rotating that side panel. So now we kind of revisit that, if you will. If that creates a new opportunity for you guys in your business model, certainly develops a lot of texture on the walls that you're installing. Just a different technique, a little bit of old school, if you will, but I think that creates, again, just a little different look on the overall aesthetics. So with that being said, let's go over some of the Lineo coping options, if you will. Here we've got the estate wall coping laid up. I'd recommend a 12-inch increment for overlay as a coping unit. Here, supported by the series accent below it. Also, the 12-inch natural stone copings that are typically at 4 foot in length, but certainly a nice kind of contrast, if you will, to the smooth texture of Lineo. If you want to basically complement that as well, consider the use of the full nose untumbled material to achieve copings, as well as the tumbled product line as well. Now, we've got ledgestone also laid up on this wall, and I think, again, nice application. So certainly a lot of variations that you can use to finish your wall application. But again, one nice thing too with Lineo, if you're going to go with smooth textures and basically abut that, you might not even choose to use a coping. For small planter walls, you may just use the final course of your Lineo as a finished cap. So thank you for your time. Greatly appreciate it on behalf of Unilock. Any questions at all on this system, please reach out to your Unilock authorized dealers and their support mechanism, which is the Unilock TMs. Want to thank you for your time.